Hey guys, this is FPL Tips and welcome back to another live stream. Just let me know in the chat if you guys can see the screen and hear my audio clearly. Okay, so we are good to go then. Hi Vasant, he says he already has Werner and Kane. Should he downgrade someone to Bamford? Uh, Antonio looks like a good option long term. We'll discuss him in detail. But if you already have Kane and Werner, I feel like the third player is uh, whom you want to get Bamford for. Werner and Kane both have good fixtures. Werner for the long run, Kane has a couple of good fixtures left. So don't downgrade them now for Bamford. Probably the third striker to Bamford. Thanks, Abhi Sharma, for confirming that the audio is clear. Okay, we'll just quickly see how the team performed in game week 6. Uh, Total 50 points. Didn't take a hit last moment, so I'm pretty much glad about it. And also lost about 8 points on the bench. Hey, it was a crazy week. Went with your advice to Captain Sterling, but it was a weird week. I mean, Sterling captaincy was a great shout, to be very honest. I wouldn't be harsh on myself. I mean, if he had three one-on-one chances, if Sterling can't finish them, probably be sitting out here as managers can't really help it. Because he really had three big chances, which anyone, I mean, if it was anyone apart from Sterling, he would have finished it. It was a Salah or a Mane, it was a hat trick for them. So don't be harsh on yourself, Abhi. To be honest, it was a very good shout to go Sterling. Fair enough, it didn't turn out. Anyways, it was a very absurd week, to be very honest. Uh, Crazy results. It looks like the Premier League is returning to normalcy, where you can see more clean sheets, more defensive prospects, and yes, less goals. What do you think about the same for this week? You even have Kane and Salah. Yeah, we'll discuss to the captaincy. That's one subtopic. I think we'll go with game week review. Then we'll look at the transfers and captaincy. Should I keep Samedo and Kilman? Yeah, you should keep them. Probably if Kilman starts the next one and it looks like if he's nailed, you can remove Samedo to Chilwell. Remove Mope for Ings, I would do that. I mean, Mope again. Sterling is one of those players who will miss on a day and then he'll eventually start scoring again. But Mope hasn't been scoring for three consecutive game weeks. His high scores have come through penalties. His non-penalty goals or involvement is really low. He does get chances. I mean, if it was someone like Innings or probably Calvert-Lewin in his place, they would have scored goals day in and out for Brighton. But Mope doesn't look like the same category striker to me at the moment. Vasan says, well, for a very crazy week, bro. Almost every player blanked. Yeah, for if you look at my team, only Saiz and probably Son and Kane returned. The rest of the team blanked. James returned as well, but he was on my bench, so probably no use of him. Start or bench Reece James is a tough one. If he starts this one in the Champions League tonight, probably will bench him because I don't expect him starting another one against Burnley. Against Burnley, see tonight I know that Thiago Silva is not in the squad, so he'll start against Burnley. Probably against Burnley we'll set up 4-3-3 because it isn't a match where we want to defend. Against the big sides, we can again see Reece James playing like a match against Tottenham or probably Man City. Samedo and Grealish keep or sell. Keep both of them. Don't sell them. Should I keep Trent? It is a tough question. I mean, I was looking at the stats, and 73% of Liverpool's chances were created through the left wing. So you can see how less involved the right wing is, hence how less Trent is involved. If you ask me that should I sell Trent, wait for one more week because now that Fabinho is injured, we don't know who's going to start in the centre back role. I read an article where it said that Klopp isn't sure of playing Matip as soon as he's back from injury because he doesn't believe that the player can start regularly just coming back from injury. So probably Matip will get more take more time if Liverpool eventually do set up in a 3-4-3 formation, then Trent and Robertson both could play wing backs. Although in the Champions League match yesterday, Trent did look decent. So probably a hold for another week. Boris, hello. Say suggestions on Kilman or size. This week looks like the perfect eye tester for it. If both of them start again, I would go Kilman only because of the price. But size at the moment, if you own him, don't sell him. I mean, he's providing points and he's value for money at the moment. Routine Muffin says worth doubling up on size and Kilman. Wouldn't say worth doubling up because Wolves are conceding chances. Not like they've not conceded a lot of the least number of big chances. And the fixture runs are not that kind after a point. I mean, Crystal Palace is decent, but then the fixtures turn. They have Leicester, Southampton, Arsenal, Liverpool, Aston, Chelsea, uh, Tottenham, and Manchester United just after Burnley. So for the next 10 weeks, you don't see a lot of clean sheets there. Probably Kilman is decent because he's 4.1 or 2. So it wouldn't harm your bench. But size, not sure if double up is the way. Mahrez plus Rodriguez to Foden plus Rashford. He already has DCL. I feel like Mahrez out could be a move, Yash. Rodriguez, I'm not sure if it's fair enough to sell him right now. If he's injured, then definitely do it. But if he's not injured, then I still feel like he's a very quality player. And the fixtures are good. I mean, the fixtures are kind in terms of Newcastle, which will not press Everton a lot. So what happened against Southampton is that he was getting double up on defense. So didn't really get a lot of space to move around the ball fast. He didn't have Richarlison space. So it did affect the game overall. And Newcastle could be a decent game to figure out how the Everton side is going to play against deep defensive sides. Man United, I don't rate it as a very tough game, to be very honest, because we've seen how United's defensive woes continue to happen the entire season. And then they have Fulham. That's the fixture you want the double up of Everton. If that doesn't work out in the next three fixtures, then probably remove Rodriguez. Do you think Thiago will be fit for West Ham? Not any news about Thiago. Hopefully, he's not. Because the more time Thiago is injured, I think Jota will play and Liverpool will adapt a 4-2-3-1. Also, a very important thing to note, I was going to place him into the differentials and watch out players list. Uh, with Fabinho out, it looks like it's a serious injury. It's not a small one, so he could be out for a couple of months, at least 1 month. If that happens, you still have only one central midfielder they want to play. So it could again come up to 4-2-3-1 if Matip is fit, and with Henderson and Thiago Silva in the center, and then in the midfield three you have Jota. So if you want to double up, the Liverpool fixtures are very kind enough. So someone downgrade in my team, particularly Pulisic out, and Jota in could be a very good move for everyone who's trying to replace Podence or maybe Grealish or Zaha. Havertz to glitch. Wouldn't do that, Kshitij. Havertz is still a better player. Do you think okay, I answered that. Athara Balal says Grealish or Zaha the most asked question. We've posted a very good comparison between Grealish and Zaha. To be very honest, if you ask me, I'm very biased against Zaha, even despite of the fact that he's posting good numbers. But I feel like if you ask me in terms of consistency, wouldn't really go Zaha unless and until I'm very sure that he'll get penalties. Also, the fact that Crystal don't attack much helps me influence that decision. Grealish, there's only one drawback of the Grealish move at the moment is that his points, his average points, and his per 90 statistics have been influenced by that one game against Liverpool. If you remove that game, his stats in comparison to Zaha are very poor because Zaha has been more consistent. So it is really a 50-50 call. If I was the one who's taking the call, the crystal fixtures don't really appeal me that much. I would still go Grealish. Okay, quick uh, summary of my team. Martinez scored 3 points, brilliant again. Made six saves, perfectly fine. That's exactly what I want from my keeper. So it's happening. Lamptey very unlucky to not get that assist and a late equalizer for West Brom took away the clean sheet as well. Robertson again looked really sharp, had a great game. Sheffield United, but the Liverpool defense line does look leaky, so can't really depend on clean sheets a lot. If they don't keep on getting clean sheets and Robertson is not involved in the attack, I might just downgrade him to Chilwell. Wolves again set defensive side. Uh, Loves to absorb the pressure in the first half and then attack in the second. Pulisic, he was one of the most attacking players in that game, in that very boring game. But I would hold on to him for the next one. But if he doesn't perform, probably a sell for me. Salah blanked, didn't go captain Salah, worked out well, went captain Son, he scored a goal, got the bonus, got the clean sheet. Perfectly well done captain this week again. Rodriguez was a surprise blank Everton, Dolman Calvert-Lewin alongside him as well. Wood again unlucky. I mean they didn't create a lot of chances, but for the last 4 weeks he has been unlucky. Wood will definitely go out of my team this week. And Kane with the assist to the Sun goal. We'll now discuss fixtures, each fixture one by one. Till then, I'll take up a couple of questions as well. What should I do with Potence? Is he playing well? Is not getting returns. Exactly, he's playing very well, but he's not getting returns. 5.5 alternative: Harrison, Suchek, or Neto. I wouldn't go Neto. I'll give you a very good start about Harrison. Is that about two-third of Leeds' attack are made through the left flank as well, just like Liverpool. So you can see how many crosses Harrison is putting inside. Bamford and Rodrigo both are very good in air, so you can actually bank on the fact that Harrison will put a lot of crosses, and even if a couple of them are converted into goals, it is more than enough for a 5.5 million midfielder. Whereas if you expect goals, Suchek would still be highest in contention for goals. But if I look at the overall consistency of points, I would go Harrison. Lookman is also a very good option. He's been second highest taking the second highest number of shots in the last two game weeks, just below Salah. So if you, but Fulham as a team don't really appeal me despite of having decent fixtures. You can still bank it, but I would go Harrison and Suchek over Lookman. Vasan says, can I keep Barkley and Foden? Not having much budget. Six below 6 million bracket. There's not much options. Barkley and Foden fit the price bracket perfectly. I would keep Foden for sure. I think that City will start attacking much better. With Barkley, it depends on how they play against Southampton. If they take up a conservative approach and they'll play Barkley deep, then there is no point of holding him. But again, if they start pressing and playing against the Highland and flooding players on the left or right flank, then Barkley would come in much more better areas. If you compare their touches and stats with Grealish, he has drastically reduced those stats when he started playing deep when Horihon is out. So Southampton should be a test for Barkley. How about Dine to Chilwell? Make it. I think Chilwell at the moment is one of the best defensive players to own. If Aspie starts tonight, it depends on the formation. To be very honest, I feel like Aspie will still start on against Burnley, and Reece James could start against Crescent or tonight. Yeah, the high had 11 defensive points on the bench from two pillars. My back three gave me 5 points. Even it was a very bad week. Don't be very harsh on yourself. Happens in FPL, and usually it was a very overall it was very like low scoring week, I would say, and the points were all from differentials. Adnan, no injury news on Antonio. The West Ham camp will only provide injury tomorrow during the press conference. So by tomorrow night, we should have confirmed information on Antonio. Yeah, yes, I know. Thanks for reminding me that we have a match tomorrow. Whom to sell, Vardy, Kane, or Werner? I feel like Vardy is the one to sell. Kane is good on form. You don't want to sell Kane, and Werner has the fixtures around him at the moment. So, uh, getting having him in your team before everyone else for the good fixtures is a good move. Probably Vardy, I don't really see him really attacking. Although he did create two big chances against Arsenal, which were the only two big chances for Leicester, but I wouldn't still rate him in form unless and until you see him scoring game again and now don't buy him. Update on Salah, nothing at the moment. Tomorrow press conference, probably something. Looks like he should be fine. I mean, he was limping after the game. There was a harsh tackle on his heel, which earned him the penalty. That's the same place where he last year got injured on a Hamza Chaudhary tackle. So I hope it's not bad because last year he was out for a really long time. I mean, even after he was fit, he was not up to his mark. So probably he's fit enough this season, and he's fit enough this week. Any replacement suggestions for front three? DCL, Vardy, Bamford. Vardy to Kane probably or Werner. Grace Zaha for a -4. For a -4, it's a tough call. If you're keeping any one of them for a long run, then take it. Replace Werner? No. I already answered about Aspi. Should I play Cancelo as Pep is playing him midfield times? If Cancelo, we can talk about it in detail. Cancelo is 5.5 and he was rested in the UCL match as well. He created two big chances and had two shots on goal last match as well, and he's been playing the last two games. So does look at the moment nailed on, but after Zinchenko is back, you know that Pep will rotate a lot. So till the time you're sure that he's playing, it's a good option. But then, are you really willing to take 5.5 defender risk in the City team? I would actually put my money on Ruben Dias, who's 5.5 as well, and I think he'll be a nailed starter over Cancelo. Yes, Cancelo is much more attacking at the moment, but then there's a lot of rotation risk, and as a manager, I wouldn't want to take a lot of tension about my player playing or not. Justin Keeper sell keep for the next four. He'll anyways stop playing after that. Sell him around game week 9 or 10. Pulisic out or not? Who should I get in? Pulisic hold looks like he should be back in form. If he doesn't, look at the likes of Bowen, probably Zaha or Grealish. If Yota continues to start and then Liverpool start playing 4-2-3-1, then Yota could be a good option as well. Dean replacements go for Chilwell, mate. If anyone could be kind enough to put the Chelsea lineup in the chat, I would really appreciate it. Foden as a sole Man City asset, it's tough because in the last two matches he's played good, but he hasn't been involved apart from the goal against West Ham. So, I mean, he was not involved a lot in the UCL game, which worries me, and he was playing way too wide. So, depends on who starts up top, and if it's a false nine with Sterling in between, then Foden should benefit from it. I'm playing 3-5-2 with Salah, Rodriguez, Zaha, Grealish, and Son, whom to sell to go back to 3-4-3. Uh, Depends on who's injured. If Rodriguez is injured, sell him. If not, I would sell Zaha. Uh, Premkant Rana, should I make any changes? My mid is Salah, Bruno, Bissouma, Oriol. I have 1.7 in the bank. Probably get another budget midfielder, probably a Foden for Bissouma or Oriol. You don't want two budget midfielders playing. Differentials for this week. Tough week to call differentials. I'll take up that question once we're done with this uh, review, and then don't worry, I'll answer it. Avinash, if I just in case forget, do put it in the chat again. Che Adams be a differential. He is a decent shout. I For the last 2 weeks he's been lucky enough to keep scoring. If he can keep up those numbers, I would prefer him over Ings because of the price. But then we've seen in the starting of the season that he is not that clinical as well. Tough one, but actually not put my money solely because I know he's not that great as a striker. I have Lamptey Taylor side I play. Probably Taylor Sai, probably Lamptey or Taylor 50-50 call, Saiz and Robert for sure. I have Castani, Robertson, Lamptey, Kyle Walker, Peter Konsa. Should I sell someone for these and bring in Chilwell or Zuma? Castani for Chilwell looks like a like to like replacement. If you already have Grealish in the midfield carriage, don't buy Watkins. Replace Castani with a good fullback or replace Trossard with Zaha. Son or Kane captain against Brighton. We'll discuss it in the captaincy. We'll just quickly start with the review because a lot of questions. Mohammed says Bale, Kakakaru, Bale. You shouldn't have bought him as soon as he was back. I mean, you always don't expect him to start right away when he's fit. He's still going to take time to play the full 90 minutes. Sell him if you can. Okay, thanks for the lineup. Mendy, Aspi, Zuma, Rudiger, Chilwell, Jorginho, Kovacic, Havertz, Cho, ZH, Werner. Looks like a very strong lineup. I was expecting a second team to start. Hi Varun, no worries. Saurabh says Jimenez or Bamford. Jimenez only if you have him, hold on to him for the Crystal Palace fixture. Apart from that, Bamford. Thanks, Sanat, for everyone who's watching. If you haven't liked the stream, hit the like button, guys. Okay, we'll discuss quickly wrap up the notes I have for each fixture. Aston Villa says Leeds looks like a very classic Leeds United game where they were counter attacking. They were taking out the pressure and putting the ball good diagonals on the wings as well. I did not post a review because it was not really prepared after the game. It was too long. I was done with it on Monday. Wouldn't find it really useful. So a statistical point that I noted was Bielsa did tactically outplay Aston Villa. He played Dallas much deep into his wing, and he also gave extra protection through Costa playing just ahead of him. Aston Villa usually like to attack and flood through the left wing, so Bielsa actually tactically outplayed them, and that is why we saw this result. Aston Villa still a good defense. Apart from Mings could have saved that first goal for sure. He was not ready and not vigilant. The next two goals were also probably due to moral reasons. Didn't really find them with any purpose defending. So looks like an outlier result. Aston Villa should be back against Southampton, hoping for a clean sheet there. West Ham versus Man City, classic West Ham example, park the bus. They probably will do it against Liverpool as well. That is slightly taking me off the Salah captaincy. Although Salah has a very good record against West Ham, hasn't blank against them, has always scored a goal or given assist. But Man City, again, they looked a very different side with Kevin De Bruyne inside. So Jesus should be back next week. But apart from that fact, Foden should get nailed. Ferland Torres looks like he'll play false nine. Pep was very happy that he is playing in that role. Might as well start the same lineup which he did against the UCL side, Marseille side, because Pep really needs those 3 points this week. Should be a easy win against Sheffield United because Sheffield have conceded the maximum number of big chances in the league at the moment. So I'm expecting City to bounce back at least couple of goals for them this week. Is Zuma nailed? Yes, he's nailed. Who should I sell, Robertson or Arnold? Arnold. I'm asking, should I? Or no, don't buy Bale. Zaha for Rodriguez or Zaha. I'm not sure if you should make that move. I'm assuming that you are buying Zaha for Rodriguez. Don't do that. Wilson or Mope or Bamford. I would go Bamford. Okay, Fulham, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace. If I look statistically, they've considered a very they're in the top five for most number of shots, most number of chances or big chances conceded. They're still in the top five. So they have been. If you look at the results, you see that they've not conceded a lot of goals, but the number of chances they've conceded are way too much. Their next fixture this week is against Wolves. Wolves have not created a lot, but should be a easy win for Wolves to be very honest. If you have Podence, I would really hold on to him another week because there's no point switching it out for Leeds because Leeds play Leicester. Leicester, on the other hand, have considered only one big chance in the last two fixtures. So not really a fixture when you want to have a Leeds midfielder. Bamford is still a good option because he thrives on a lot of chances. I mean, Leeds had 27 shots, total chances created were 33. So Bamford is getting a lot of chances, which eventually leads to a goal or two for him. I have Kilman sized and target along Robertson. Who should I? Both of them had an XG under one. No really creativity from either side. Pulisic did look sharp when he was playing on the left wing, so I'm expecting him to start again on the left wing. Ziyech starting this match also gives us a lot of hope and motivation that he'll start the match against Burnley in the weekend. United, I think the best player still to own from United is Bruno Fernandes and Rashford when Martial is not playing. Apart from that, Werner has good fixtures, but against deep setting sides that set up deep, Werner is going to find a tough time to score. So Burnley should be a very good eye test for the ones who don't own him. For the ones who own him, don't sell him just because of the Burnley fixture. Liverpool backline did have started conceding some chances, especially when Robertson is attacking way too ahead. There isn't a lot of cover which Van Dijk previously provided, so there were a lot of chances that were through Sheffield's right and Liverpool's left. Uh, a lot of crosses put inside the box. The penalty was unfair. To be very honest, it was outside the box. The penalty should not have been given. Another mess up by VAR, and I mean, I have no hopes by the system at all at the moment. On attack, yes, Liverpool, Salah should have scored an offside goal and hit the post once. So Salah was actually the perfect captaincy option, but when the luck is not on side, then you can't really help it. Same happened with Sterling. He had 3-1 on all chances. Although Sterling was a poor finisher, Salah, on the other hand, was just unlucky that day. Uh, should be. I would love to see Liverpool start playing 4-2-3-1 because that enables Jota for us, who's 6.3 and he's a midfielder for playing for Liverpool. If he's regular, there can't be a much more bargain pick. It's like Foden, but much more attacking and clinical. So really hoping to see Liverpool start 4-3-1 against West Ham again this weekend. DCL for Bamford wouldn't do that, Rahul. Uh, at least for a couple of more games. If you can buy Bamford for someone else, do that. Should I play Ailing or Justin as my third defender? Really tough call in the Leicester versus Leeds fixture because both sides, Leicester will set up deep 3-5-2 probably or 3-4-3, and they haven't conceded a lot of big chances. Leeds, on the other hand, will attack a lot. So there isn't much to really take out of that fixture. If I had to put in someone in my team, I would actually fancy Ailing because I feel the Leeds attack is way too good to not score in a fixture. Uh, they did struggle against sides that set up deep, just like Sheffield, but then I would still fancy Leeds attacking sides. Will Foden start and Sterling start? Sterling differential captain. I'm not really confident about Sterling. He's played 90 minutes in the last four matches. He was again really getting really slow in the last match as well. So Foden, yes, I think he'll start because he was rested a match ago. But with Sterling, I am not really confident this match. So wouldn't really recommend differential captain. Although if you're sure enough that he'll start, he still is a good captain shout. With Kevin De Bruyne back in the false line, he should be good. Sanath, I have no love for Podence. I removed him because he was not performing. But if you look at the game, he is the only player who's creating for Wolves. I mean, it's like Kevin De Bruyne creating for City, and you can see it clearly on the pitch. But those creations or those chances have not been translated to FPL points. And to be honest, as FPL managers, we are not looking for chances created. We're looking for outputs, and he is not able to provide them. If you don't have any other better move to make, remove Podence for sure. But just to make a move for a 5.5 million midfielder to another 5.5 midfielder doesn't it make really sense to me because it's not a bad fixture. You want to make it as an urgent move. Uh, Wolves play tough fixtures in the next upcoming fixtures. That is when you want to make it as a priority move. Reece James is on the bench today. Yeah, that's what I saw. Looks like he could be nailed on to start against Burnley for those crosses. I will probably take a chance to play him this weekend as well. Ailing or Dallas? Dallas at the moment because Cooper is out. Ailing was playing in the centre back role, wasn't attacking much. Dallas overall still looks much more attacking, putting in crosses. I'll just give you a very slight example of how it goes between Ailing and Dallas. Dallas puts in a lot of crosses. Ailing occasionally takes takes a couple of shots, but has more key passes in the game. So that's the matrix. If you bank the Leeds United crosses, then buy Dallas. If you think that Ailing will eventually get a couple of shots and might get a goal, then bank Ailing. Varun says Jimenez to Bamford, Barkley to Hammers, Mitchell to Chilwell. One free transfer this game week was saved. Make the transfer. I feel like Mitchell to Chilwell is a good transfer this week. Why is Adama not starting? It's just tactical reason. There's no reason why Adama shouldn't start. I feel like they should start Adama over Podence. Probably a 3-4-3 if they can. That would really dwell a lot for Wolves. Adama on the right, Podence on the left. Is it okay to get Kilman looking at Wolves fixture only if he starts? If you're I'm not really still confident about Kilman. If he starts the next one, he's definitely a bargain. Get him in as soon as you see the lineups. If you see him start, get him that particular night. Okay, we were talking about fixtures. Southampton versus Everton. Uh, Southampton pressed James Rodriguez a lot. They had two players on him all the time, which didn't allow James to distribute the ball or play through the deep. I felt like Andre Gomez was also a very essential part that was missing. The slow pokes, if I could call, from Everton were Gylfi Sigurdsson and Iwobi. They were not attacking, they were not fast or clinical in their passing or shooting. Sigurdsson had a good shot on goal, but nothing apart from that in the game. So, and Southampton were very deep. They didn't play the high defensive line. So they were actually defending deep when Everton had the ball. So it was actually a good match to watch. Don't expect Southampton to do that again against Villa. I feel like Southampton will go and attack Villa, and Villa can benefit from the high line, hopefully, unless and until they start playing conservative football. Everton, on the other hand, I think Bernard should start over Iwobi this match, and Andre Gomez, he's fit enough to start. Dina's red card is reduced to one match, so that's another good thing. And Kenny should start on the right back role. Uh, Godfrey was a absolute mess at that role. He was not able to track back, not able to defend, not able to pass, not able to put crosses. You want a conventional right back to play in that position. So Coleman is back soon in the next 3 weeks, probably for the Fulham game, and Kenny should start the next one. I would actually hold on to the Everton assets. It is too much to draw from one fixture, to be honest. Ole confirmed that Cavani get couple of game weeks in the playing 11 starting from next game week. Do you think of transferring him? Uh, a tough call, to be honest. They play Arsenal, and I fancy United assets against Arsenal. But for my team, I don't have the budget. So, anyways, I'm not going to bring him. If you want to fancy a punt on Cavani, it could be a good one because he did look sharp. He had more touches than I think the Chelsea attacking attackers, particularly Werner. So yeah, you probably want to take a punt, and if you're sure on the only news, you can take a punt. I'm not really confident and sure because I've not read it, but if you have, then you can take a punt. Amit Kumar says got Reece James in the last minute, got 8 points and total 69. That's a really good game week if you have 69 points. Anything around the 60 mark at this game week was very good. We reached the 50 mark due to the captaincy shout, but nothing apart from that. Wolves versus Newcastle, typical Wolves game, absorbing pressure in the first half, attacking in the second. Good free kick by Newcastle. There was nothing else in the game at all. Arsenal Leicester again, nothing at all from both sides. Both defensive teams offering zero attack. Leicester scored the good odd goal through a very good pass from the midfield through Tielemans and then crossed by Under. Brighton, West Brom again. Brighton were good in the first half, but then West Brom did attack really well in the second half. I feel like Brighton can be under pressure against Tottenham. Burnley, Tottenham, nothing to take up from. Tottenham will always struggle against teams which set up deep. Crystal, Wolves, probably Southampton if they're setting up deep. On days you can see West Ham setting up deep. Uh, Although they did not against Spurs last match, but somehow, but even Leicester and Arsenal, these are the teams where Tottenham will struggle. Apart from that, the teams which like to keep possession, Tottenham will thrive against those teams because Tottenham will counter attack them a lot. Should I buy Zuma James for Taylor? Zuma if I feel like he's more nailed. Is it too late to get Sun considering the tough fixtures? I think Sun is still very fixture proof. If you had to Kane, I'm not really sure if he's fixture proof. I know he has penalties in his back, but I don't rate him as fixture proof. Sai's Lamte कौन सा ailing any two Sai's and ailing. Which team do you support in the Premier League? I support Chelsea. Okay, so my transfers pretty obvious. I'm removing Wood. If Antonio is fit, I would go Antonio. Probably won't remove Wood this week. If Antonio is not fit, I'm going Bamford without a doubt. Might as well make the move tonight if I see Bamford rising in price. As the price rise happened around 7 in the morning, I'll be awake, so I can actually have a look. For the people who are interested, the price rise happened at 7 a.m. Indian time. So there's the website called fplstatistics.com. You can keep a track on the price rises and falls on that website. They're not accurate, but they're most close to the FPL algorithm. Hey FPL Penguin, do you think Rodriguez will be okay this week? He should be okay. There's no hamstring issue as far as I know. And Ancelotti said that he should be fine. I think he was rushed last week with the injury. Should be okay this week. If he isn't, I probably will also look to transfer him out because then I don't have much value if he drops in price. Hello Devansh, chances of Rodriguez playing, yes, Upol, there's a lot of chances. FPL Penguin says, I'm rolling my free transfer, giving Trent another week. Yes, we discussed in the stream earlier that Trent this week could be a good watch, wait and watch, and see how Liverpool play. He did look really good in the UCL fixture. Man City looked strong against Marseille. The rhythm was there. Dice and in for size as a City defender option. I do have Kilman as a fifth defender. Abhi Sharma, that's a good move. I feel like even I was planning to remove size at some point. if Kilman is starting and is nailed on. Probably when then upgrade James to Chilwell or to Ruben Dias. It looks like a good move. Zaha for Grealish. Tough call between Zaha and Grealish. I would actually pick Grealish over Zaha, but it's honestly a 50-50 call. Okay, so transfers, as I say, if you want to make a defensive transfer this week, I would actually bank Chilwell or the Chelsea's asset Zuma. Looks like cheap assets, nice three fixtures up ahead. Should be clean sheets. Chilwell more over Zuma for sure because he has attacking prospect as well. Killman is another option I'm looking at very closely because if he starts the next one, I probably will get him because it allows you a lot of funds. Will drastically upgrade your midfield. Looking at forwards, we have Antonio and Bamford definitely on the watch list. Two players you want to look out continuously. Apart from that, I think Ings is going way too under the radar. He's been very consistent, and Southampton have been posting good attacking stats over the last 4 game weeks. So look at Ings, probably a replacement for him and his direct replacement if you already have Kane. In midfield, there's not much to buy apart from Zaha and Grealish. Those are the two players that everyone is looking at. Ferland Torres could be a differential option this week, a differential punt if you want to overtake your opponent. But there's a high rotation risk obviously involved in it. Could work out well, high risk, high reward move. Uh, Watch out for Jared Bowen. Ben Rama. Someone asked me in the chat, will Ben Rama start? I don't think he'll start straight away. It doesn't look like foreigners will be dropped. Uh, Unless Bowen is put into the Antonio role and Ben Rama starts. I would love to see that happen because then Bowen becomes a very viable option from game week 8 when they have good fixtures. With Antonio injured, I don't really see their attack prospering a lot because Antonio provides that hold up play which Haller does not provide. So Antonio is a really pivotal player for them. If he's out for long and Bowen does do well against Liverpool, I would actually buy Bowen in my team. I have to get rid of Pulisic and Mopes. Who should I take in for them? Mope is the one to get rid of. I mean, uh, Mope could end up scoring against Tottenham. He's getting at least 3 to 4 chances each week, and he isn't a good finisher. I mean, he's not taking up those chances. He could have at least had 10 odd goals in the season till now. I mean, it's really frustrating to see him not score when he's playing so good. I mean, when the team is playing so good. So probably Mope to Antonio Fit or Bamford looks like a good move, or Ings if you have the money. Pulisic I would hold because he was the only player in that entire match who looked really sharp and who looked like he had a chance to score. I would really like to see him play against Burnley because I know there's a lot of potential of Pulisic scoring and he looks like he could fire up anytime. Should I play Grealish or Klitsch? Play Grealish for sure. Yes, Devansh Pant, smash that like button, guys, if you haven't already. DCL to Ings or Bissouma to Zaha. Bissouma to Zaha, I feel. Kanishka says, should I keep Kilman, Robertson, and Chilwell with Kane, Watkins with and DCL, or bring Walker Peters and play Kane and DCL? Uh, Chilwell, Robertson, and Kilman look like the move with Kane. I'm not really sure if DCL is worth all the defensive weakness you're bringing into your team. If you can probably remove Robertson for someone cheap, probably Gomez, and then keep DCL and Kane together, you can probably do that as well. Avinash, that is a good question. You can probably DM me and we'll talk over there about such stuff. Do we hold Lamptey or transfer or not? I feel like Lamptey has been very unlucky. Most number of touches again. He's the second most touches for Brighton this week again, and he should have that assist, but the fantasy app did not provide him the assist. A very late equalizer for West Brom took away the clean sheet. I mean, you are seeing a very good spark in that player, and he can probably provide you points. I would actually hold him for another couple of games, but if he still doesn't perform, we have to part our ways. At the moment, still hold him. I feel like the only player apart from in the budget region I want to look at is Kyle Walker Peters because Southampton are actually defensively stable at the moment. In the initial game, we obviously looked like it was the preseason factor where they did not have much games, but now it looks like the league is back to normality. And Walker Peters is someone I'm looking at, and even Kofal from West Ham. If I had to downgrade James, I would actually buy Kofal over Dallas, which I initially was planning. So that could also be my move this week. I'm sorry, Devesh. It's not Devansh, it's Devesh. Keep Grealish or replace him with Zaha. Stats support Zaha, but fixtures support Grealish. Uh, I have already answered this. I mean, at a personal level, I really don't favor Zaha because I know Palace isn't that really good. The fixtures definitely support Grealish, and Grealish should have scored this week as well. I mean, his one of his shots were cleared off the line, and he could have an assist easily. So I would fancy Grealish over Zaha. Another differential which I would like to point out for the people who have Grealish are not buying Zaha and you want a budget pick, Batshuayi is someone you can look at, or even Patrick Bernard if he starts in the midfield. Both of them are around the 5.5, 5.8 million price bracket. And Batshuayi, if he starts over IU, is much more attacking and provides that pace as well. He could be a good option if you want Palace player due to the fixture and not buying Zaha. What is your reaction on the Maguire foul? It should have been a penalty. Definitely should have been a penalty. Again, VAR is hopeless. Uh, I mean, I can't really complain. I mean, that should have been a penalty, but my overall take on the game was that Chelsea did not deserve the win. Uh, we had an XG of 0.25 or 0.26. That's ridiculous after spending 200 millions on attack. We did not create anything. Werner had less number of touches than Cavani, who came on as a sub around the 70-80 minute mark. So that really defines the entire game for me and really poor performance by Chelsea. Devesh probably should take Bamford in for Mopa and hold on Bamford for the entire season. Looks also another interesting stat here that is 670% of his points have come away from home. So looks like he's the man who performs away from home more often. His fixtures now on are more away from home, so should be an okay person to hold on for a really long time. I wouldn't be uh, deluded by his fixtures that his fixtures are tough. I rate Leeds as a good attacking team, so I would still hold on to Bamford. Barkley a good option. He's a decent option at 5.9. If he plays attacking in the last two matches, he has had only five touches around the box, and he was dropped very deep while playing in the last two matches. If against Southampton he plays much more forward and gets attacking, that is when you want to hold him. If not, then probably move on to someone else. I want to remove Jimenez and Samedo after the Southampton game. By then, I have Ings, DCL. Now I need replacement for Jimenez and Samedo. If you already have Ings, then probably upgrade Jimenez to Kane if you can. Samedo to downgrade Samedo to someone 4.5. Probably Kufal after this week and Jimenez to Kane or Werner. Werner is also option you can look at. Okay, so the last topic we'll keep it short. Captaincy. My three standout captains I feel this week should be Mane. I feel like Mane is a very good captain shot with all the Salah injury concerns going on. There's a lot of attack going through that left channel of Liverpool, and Mane has looked really sharp in the last two fixtures. Salah, if he starts, is obviously a god at home, and against West Ham, he hasn't really blanked. So we know that Salah won't blank against West Ham. If he's fit, Salah again provides a very good value and very good option. It comes between Son and Kane. A lot of people feel I was having this chat with a follower on Instagram that why Brighton could be a tough fixture. Well, I feel that Brighton could actually be an easy fixture for Tottenham. If you look at Brighton's fixtures away from home, they've obviously against probably even Everton or the likes of United as well. They've kept a lot of position even against Chelsea, and they've conceded goals on the counter attack. The exact same thing happened against Everton when Brighton had a lot of ball. They lost the ball in crucial areas, and they got counter attack. That's the exact same strategy that Tottenham have adapted, and they're prospering in it. I mean, if you look at the goals against United, Southampton, all were counter attacks, and if you look at Dunk is also out, I wouldn't be worried about Lamptey because Reguilon will start that match in my opinion, and it's going to be a very tough matchup for Lamptey against the pace of Reguilon. So when it comes to between Son and Kane, there are two ways I look at. Son will be the first person who will be attacking the ball. So Kane will pass it to Son and Son will run towards the goal. The second thing I could look at is Son drifts wide on the left flank and then puts the ball inside for Kane. Also, Kane has the penalties. Really tough call. If I had to pick a differential captain this week, I would still go Kane because of ownership and penalties. But between the two, if you want to go safe Son because he gets an extra point for a goal, and you've seen that Son is in general more on goal. Last match as well, Son was more involved. I mean, there was not much involvement by Tottenham, but Son was still more involved than Kane. Kane had only the one chance he got in the starting from a really long ball. Apart from that, nothing on goal. Between Son and Salah, tough. The stats favor Salah, but I would fancy Son as a good captain shot this week. If you want to go differential, I feel like Ings is a really differential option this week. Statistically, have been good at home as well, and Villa will try to bounce back and will try to attack this game. So could be a good fixture for Ings. Uh, Devesh, I don't have a Discord server. Not really on Discord a lot, so don't have it at the moment. Grealish and Watkins both. Should I replace Watkins with Bamford or should I do this game week? No, don't keep both. Probably lay off Watkins for Bamford. He is not looking that involved apart from that one game week. If you guys look at his underlying stats, not that great. I wouldn't even if he scores, I wouldn't be really convinced because we know that his stats and overall performance have been out variant only because of that one fixture. That could happen again as well. So wouldn't really rely on his stats. Differential picks. Avinash, thank you. This week, differential picks. I feel like Foden could be a good differential pick against Sheffield United, even Fernand Torres. In the Burnley Chelsea fixture, don't really fancy any differential unless Pulisic is playing on the left. Apart from that, I don't really see it a very high scoring game. Probably a 1 or 2 nil for Chelsea. So, but if it comes through Pulisic, I would be happy because I don't see it a game for Werner because the high line did not give any space to Kane as well. Like the uh, close, I meant, sorry, not the high line, the close compact line of Burnley did not give any space to Kane as well. Looks like it could be the same against Werner. From Liverpool, Diego Jota could be a good differential, but I wouldn't buy him. Wait and watch. But if he starts and looks like a consistent option, definitely wants to bring him in your team. Villa, Southampton, nothing out there. If you fancy Adams to take a punt over Bamford, you can because Bamford usually overperforms his expected goals. So he did overperform his expected goal by 1.4 last week as well. So I usually feel like Bamford scores in blocks. Like he scored 3 goals, then he'll blank for a couple of game weeks, and then again score a couple of goals or provide an assist. That is usually how Bamford performs. Irrespective of knowing this, I'll still buy him if Antonio is not fit. So Bamford to me is a long-term option, but don't expect him to score against Leicester again. I'm really skeptical that he'll score again. Newcastle, Everton, nothing differential. Don't go near Bernard or Iwobi. I don't really rate them at the moment. Manchester United, Arsenal. We discussed this. Cavani, if that's sure, I posted on the story that if Cavani has a chance of starting, if that is true, I would actually fancy Cavani against Arsenal. Against Arsenal, United have always been dominant at home, so I really fancy this for Bruno captaincy as well. A differential Bruno captaincy could work in your favor, despite of Arsenal's defensive good numbers. I would still fancy United to win this game easily. Spurs Brighton no differentials don't go anywhere apart from Kane and Son. Even if Bale is fit and back in starting, I would really wouldn't go there. Fulham West Brom the only differential is Lookman you want to watch out for. 5 million you can still bring him in your team and have him. This is the only fixture where even Mitrovic could score. If you have Mitrovic still, if you still have Mitrovic, you can keep him for this fixture. Apart from this, I don't really expect a lot from Fulham and Leeds Leicester. The deadline seem I said that Costa could really exploit that right hand side, and that did happen. He resulted in an assist, and happy that worked out well for Leeds. But against Leicester is going to be a tough match. The thing with Leeds midfielder is that you don't know which one is going to create a lot of chances because they are not just teams like City are dependent on Kevin De Bruyne and David Silva last year. But Leeds is not dependent on one player. I mean, they have Harrison, they have Costa, they have Klitsch, they have Rodrigo. Rodrigo would be my pick if you had to go differential or watch out for someone. Apart from that, in the midfield, not really much to uh, observe. You probably pick one of Costa or Harrison and hope you get a clean sheet in a couple of games in probably 3 or 4 clean sheet and assist in 3 or 4 game weeks. Uh, how is James Reese for defender? If you own him, I mean he's a 50-50 starter. Next week we are assuming that he will start, so probably will get him in your teams. But not really a nailed on option. Chilwell much better, Zuma much better. Any viable Arsenal assets? The only viable Arsenal asset I look at the moment is Bellerin. Apart from that, none. Do you think Foden will start? Yes, I think Foden will start. Captaincy options. To me, it's between Son and if Salah is fit, Salah or Mane. Actually, I if I had Mane and Salah both, I would captain Mane over Salah. Ings on penalty for Southampton. Yes, he's on penalties. Although in an interview that one of the Saints players said that James Ward-Prowse is on set pieces. I don't know if it includes penalties or not, but it should be Ings looking at last season's end. Should we go 4-3-3 with Castagna or 3-4-3 with Podence? Go with Podence, Abhi Sharma. Can you please repeat City versus Sheffield United? Yes, if you were looking at the differentials, Furlan, Torres, and Foden, that's what I said. Sheffield United are being exploited on the right hand side a lot. Every chance that Liverpool created were mostly through the right. Probably it would be a cross from Trent diagonally, but everything was channelized. A lot of things were channelized through the right. City could exploit it with as Kevin De Bruyne plays on the right. So you were expecting a lot of crosses and through balls from him. It depends on who plays in this number 9 role. If Ferland Torres plays there, very good because I've seen him against Leeds and he wasn't passing the ball a lot. He if he had the ball, he was fancying himself to take a shot. That might be the case against Sheffield as well. They'll obviously go low lying in defense. Another point I want to tell you guys against for Sheffield is that Brewster did play well. I mean, I'm not saying that he's not a good option, but he was substituted at 59 minutes. That's not what you expect from your player because we were expecting him to play at least around 70-80 minutes. But it looks like for the season it's going to be the case where he's replaced at 60-65 minutes. So probably I wouldn't recommend Brewster if you're planning to go five in the midfield. I mean, he's the only viable option, yes, but I wouldn't really fancy him starting in the team, in our FPL teams, I meant. Apart from that, City easy victory. Kevin De Bruyne soon should be back in our teams. I'm aiming at getting him around the game week 10 mark. Currently in a dilemma: should I get Bruno for West Brom or should I get for Kevin De Bruyne and keep him for the rest of the season? Also, for the ones who have Sterling, keep him. For the ones who are buying Foden for any other player, don't get worried of the Liverpool match in game week 8 because Liverpool haven't been defending anyways really well. So should be a decent matchup, and it won't go one way where Liverpool is defending, City is attacking. City will get decent number of chances in the Liverpool game as well. Kevin De Bruyne as a captain for this week. Rahul, tough call because Sheffield United defend a lot. So, I mean, then without a proper striker, City is still not at full potential. If Jesus was playing this game or Aguero was playing this game, I would fancy Kevin De Bruyne as captain because then you know the crosses can be finished by a proper attacker through that heading potential. If you look at Sterling, he's short in height and he's not that a good header of the ball. The crosses not really don't really mean a lot when Kevin De Bruyne is putting in. If you as in look at Aguero, Jesus, they still good in air. That's one factor you want to look at. Apart from that, he's still back from injury. He's not at his full potential. Two factor and Son and Salah obviously alongside Mane and Kane have better fixtures out there. Wouldn't really go that side. Yes, Ings I think will take the penalty in the season ahead as well. Saka, I mean, Arsenal have not been putting attacking numbers. If you look at Arsenal, I would rate them playing just like Burnley, but actually not even attacking that much because they've adopted a very defensive tactic where they're relying on long balls, be it through David Luiz or be it through someone on the right flank to Aubameyang. And there's literally no other creativity through the central midfield. I wouldn't rate Saka or Aubameyang as a pick at the moment even if they have the fixtures. Also, with David Luiz out, I think the long balls also will get hampered. I'm not really sure how Arsenal will adapt to it. Thanks, Rahul. Hope it helps. Ings, I've said it, it's a good differential captain. Uh, Nothing much to really doubt him. If you have Ings, keep him. He's been performing really well. And as I said, a lot of people have been overlooking Ings. So should be a good shout if you're going differential. Okay, guys, we'll take a last couple of questions and then we'll wrap up the stream. I'll probably make my transfer Wood to Bamford if Bamford is rising tonight. I don't really think that Antonio will be back. Even if he's back, I'll probably bring him later on. But I'm really confident that he should not be back for a couple of weeks at least. Okay, since there are no more questions, we'll wrap up the stream. And it was good to have you guys over. If you've not liked the stream till now, please like it. And if there are anyone new watching the stream, do subscribe to the channel. Till the deadline stream. Also, a reminder that the deadline is Friday, which is or Saturday 12 a.m. 00 a.m. The kickoff is at Saturday 1:30 a.m. So 1.5 before. We'll also do the deadline stream. So everyone who has the YouTube notifications on will automatically get notified for the deadline as well. Uh, just keep a note that make your transfers late as possible, especially in regards of Salah and Rodriguez, because either could be injured. Salah doesn't look really serious. I'm not really sure about James at the moment. Ancelotti did provide news, but again, his news last week was also not correct, so don't really bank on him. Ailing or Kyle Walker Peter out for Chilwell. Oh, tough one. If I had to remove, I would remove Ailing because Kyle Walker, they have Leeds have tougher fixtures. Okay, guys, so we'll wrap up the stream. This is FPL Tips signing off. Cheers.